We would like to welcome you to the Better Cribs and Gardens channel. If you have been looking for information on small woodworking projects that sell well, we have our top 3 compilation videos that we have researched and want to present to you. Also, we have provided the information to their different YouTube channels. Make sure that you visit them. Please don't copyright strike us. This is to inform, educate and entertain our audience. But first off, there are links at the bottom in the description of this video that will take you to the official page that you see here. If you are looking for some fantastic information on some step-by-step woodworking projects, or what is said to be the Earth's largest database of woodworking projects, this featured official website is called Todd's Woodworking, which is said to be the world's largest collection of 16,000 woodworking plans, that is also featured in the beginning and at the end of the video. And you can see that this featured database is said to have plans that are said to be step-by-step. Also, you can see here that this is said to solve the problems of not having specific enough plans. Vital information being left out of instructions. Details being too complex for beginners as well. Just take a look as we briefly scroll. Also take a look here, as you can see that this is also said to solve the problems of plans not including cut sheets. Making it look easier than what they end up being. And not including pictures that match what they are telling you and more. Just take a look as we briefly scroll through. If you would like to take a look at the featured Todd's Woodworking, over 16,000 step-by-step plans for woodworking projects for yourself, all that you have to do is just click on the links provided in this description. Just briefly take a look here as we scroll. But now, let's get to our selection of videos that we have researched for small woodworking projects that sell well. We hope that you will enjoy it. Where we researched the videos from. Video number 1 is from the Woodwork Genius YouTube channel. Video number 2 is from the Jennie and Davis YouTube channel. Video number 3 is from the Todd Clippinger YouTube channel.
Today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 more of my favorite shop hacks, tips, and tricks in the hopes that they will make your life a little easier as they've done for me. Let's not waste any time, let's get right to it. Hi, I'm Andrew Burke, and this is Burke Makes Stuff. Welcome to the workshop. I'm glad that you're here with us. Based on the amazing feedback I got from you guys when I made my first shop hack videos, I decided to keep a running list in my shop that I use all week long, and every time I realize I'm using a shop hack, I write it on that list. Every time I get 10 or so, I'll come out with one of these videos so that you can hopefully learn something from them and use these shortcuts in your own shop. The first one is one I've been using for a long time, and I didn't realize it was a shop hack at all. Shop hack number 1 deals with this, an extension cord, something I and I'm sure most of you use every single day in our shop. Now, if I only need 4 or 5 feet of extension cord, I don't want to unroll a 50-foot length. That's ridiculous. Not to mention putting it away wastes a ton of time. So instead of winding it up from the ends, wind it up from the middle. That way, if you don't need to use all 50 feet of the cable, you can just unwind what you do need and have both the cable side and the plug side at your disposal. Then when you're done, you put those 5 feet that you used back in, and you're ready to go. Whenever I'm taking something apart and I want to make sure I don't lose any of the nuts or bolts or screws, I take a small magnet and I put it on the bottom of the metal container I'm using to hold them. That way it offers a lot of extra strength to make sure nothing gets lost.
I picked up this little blue handheld paint bucket at one of the big box stores for $1, and it served me really well. Other than using it again and again and again for painting, anytime I need to drill into drywall, I simply put a piece of blue painter's tape across it, stick it to the wall underneath where I'm drilling, and I never have to clean up afterwards.
Very often when you're working with dowels, you'll need to find where the exact center of that dowel is. But how do you do that? I'm going to show you how to do it with just about any piece of paper you have laying around and a pen or pencil. But I'm going to show you this one on paper because seeing it big will make far more sense than seeing me trying to explain it on here.
Let's use this circle to represent the end of a dowel. Grab yourself a piece of paper that has a 90-degree corner and line it up on that circle. Draw the 2 lines in that create that 90-degree angle. Then take the same piece of paper and line it up with one of those 2 lines you just drew and add 1 more line, creating 2 90-degree angles within that circle. The final steps are to draw lines that connect the corners of the 90-degree angles with the adjacent points where the line meets the circle. That'll give you the exact center of a circle every time.
Since we're already talking about finding the center of things, now is the ideal time to show you my next shop hack. And that is a way to find the exact center of the side of a board, which I often need to do in my shop. Let's go over to the drill press and I'll show you how. If you don't have a drill press though, don't worry. You should go check out this hack video that I made, and it shows you how to drill an exact 90-degree hole without using a drill press at all.
All you need for this one is any piece of scrap wood you have lying around. I'm going to use 3 pencils because I have them handy, but you can use dowels or screws or pins, whatever you have around. You also need a tape measure and a drill bit that matches the diameter of whatever you're going to be using. In this case, I'm using 3/8" pencils, so I'm going to be using a 3/8" drill bit. Make 3 equidistant marks along a straight line on the piece of scrap wood. Drill out each of those 3 marks with the drill bit matching the diameter of the pins you're going to use. Put the pins in place, and you're ready to go.
Shop hack number next deals with dividing a piece of wood into equal sections. Now, I am not good at math. I don't pretend to be. My wife is an accountant and I let her do the math. For me, I try to find every way around doing it that I can. So,
if what I want to do is divide this into 4 equal sections, I'm simply going to take the next highest number on the ruler that's divisible by 4 easily. So in this case, the number above 9 divisible by 4 easily is 12. I then take that 12 inches and put it at an angle across the board. Now 12 inches divided into 4 equal sections is 3-inch sections, so I'll mark out 3, 6, 9, and 12. This allows us to use much easier math to get our 4 equal sections from a board that we would otherwise not be able to do that so easily with.
The next shop hack I get to talk about is one of my favorite inventions out of all of mankind, and we've invented a lot of stuff, but this one is Velcro. Velcro is one of the most useful things we've ever made, and in my shop it keeps me safe, so I absolutely love it. I have machines everywhere, extra cables everywhere, wires everywhere, and they're neat and they're organized so they're not dangerous. And the way I do that very easily is by wrapping everything up and putting Velcro around it. So it's still very accessible and it's still very safe. That's how I like it. No shop can ever really have enough light, especially when you're working on something small or intricate. You always need that extra bit of light to make sure you can see what you're doing and stay safe. Now you can, without blinking an eye, go and spend hundreds of dollars on specialty lights for your workshop. And in some instances that's definitely called for, but in my shop, I spent $6 on this. I've been using it for years and I love it. It's a clip light. Check it out.
Ooh, that's an efficient, inexpensive light source.
I am fully aware that this next shop hack slash tip slash trick is nuts. It is, I know it. But I am a firm believer that any good maker's shop should have one of these. A hairdryer.
What's this? I said take only what you need to survive.
It's my industrial strength hairdryer. And I can't live without it!
Not just to keep you looking luxurious, but because it is a versatile tool. A heat gun puts out way too much heat, and it usually has limited settings. This, you can control the heat that's put out, you control the air that comes out of it. If you are drying paint, if you are drying glue, if you are drying touch-up, if you are shrink wrapping things, this is your friend. My 10th and final tip, trick, hack isn't anything you'll find in your workshop, but it's something you're going to find online. It's probably my new favorite app. I'm on it way too frequently, but it's amazing. It is called Maker's Playground, and before anyone asks, no, I don't make a cent from them. They don't pay me to advertise. That's not what this is about. It's just an amazing, amazing app. It's basically a social network for makers, for people who build, for people who create, for people who like to make stuff. Maker's Playground is actually put out by Izzy Swan. You guys might know him. If you don't, he's got a great YouTube channel. He's a maker, an inventor, an all-around, like, awesome dude. And I absolutely love this app. You should definitely check it out. It's a great place to get ideas, to share, to ask questions, to get knowledge, to gain knowledge, to share knowledge about whatever it is that you like to make, whether it's wood, whether it's sewing, whether it's painting, whatever you're into. So go check it out. I hope you guys loved this tips, tricks, and hacks video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I know there's a ton of you guys watching this video that don't subscribe, and of course, you don't have to subscribe to watch the video because that's the way YouTube has it set up. But subscribing helps the channel immensely, and of course it's free, so you don't lose out on anything. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sharing this experience. I'll see you guys next time, hopefully Wednesday at 4 o'clock, but if life doesn't allow it, definitely once a week, every week. I'll see you guys there.
Ruining this intro, just saying.
Today we're going to talk about 5 projects that we've learned sell really well for us. So we got a question the other day on Instagram. Go follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. But we got a question of somebody asking, what do you make that sells the best? Like, because there's a ton of different projects. What, as a beginning woodworker trying to make some money, what should I go towards to make money? And so we just replied with the 5 things that we made the most of. We thought that would be a pretty good topic for a video. So we're just gonna roll through the 5 projects that are just kind of our go-to, explain what's good and bad about each project, what we've learned by building several of them, and hopefully that'll spark an idea for you. Maybe you can use these as your go-to, or it gives you the confidence to get off the ground with your business. 5 projects are so versatile and so ubiquitous that like you can incorporate.
Ooh.
I know, it's a big word.
Ooh.
I heard AVE use it, so.
Wow.
Yeah, ubiquitous means it's everywhere.
Wow, you might have, okay.
So these are 5 projects that you can make so different and so unique that if a customer just says, hey, can you show me something XYZ that you've built, you can point to one of these projects and say, well, I can do it just like this, but in a door or in a shelf or in a cabinet, something like that.
And honestly, in your portfolio, people like to see pictures of things that they could see themselves buying. So if somebody wants a coffee table or they want some bar stools, but all your Instagram or whatever portfolio has in it is like super tiny detailed keepsake boxes, they're gonna be like, I don't know if they're quite up my alley.
Let's just get into it. We'll quit talking at you.
That's our transition.
That's the transition?
That's our transition. Okay, so number 1 on our list of super common projects is a desk. We have made multiple videos on YouTube of us building desks. That is just what people want. Lots of people want and need desks, whether it's to fill space in a room or they genuinely just need a work area. We'll get a lot of requests to customize desks, whether that's cable management, wireless charging, certain types of legs that they want. But when it comes down to it, they're super simple to make and customize. So if you have a picture of one in your portfolio that somebody thinks is cool, they can look at it and say, hey, that's awesome. And then can we do 2 extra holes for cable management? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem, super easy. So very versatile. There's a lot of directions you can go with this one. You can change the style of them, the look of them, the feel of them. And when it comes down to it, it's still just a really usable desk. And then a little bit more on the sales side of building desks and why we absolutely love building them. It's because it is great practice for you as a salesperson to upcharge, to add little extras, to add accessories and customize it for them. And really, as you customize and it takes more time and more materials and more skill, it's gonna naturally cost more. Whether it's labor, whether it's your hourly rate, it's the materials you buy, all in all, it will cost more. So, for example, somebody comes to you and they say, hey, I need a desk. That's great, that could be 8 million different desks. You can sit down and say, hey, what are you gonna use the desk for? Are you a computer gamer? Are you a college student? Do you want it for decoration? And from there, if they say, you know, yeah, I'm a computer gamer, I like gaming. You can say, well, from there, we can do multiple shelves for you. You can make different cubbies to hold the tower for your desktop computer. Cable management is a big one that people who do a lot of online gaming like to do. You can include wireless charging so they can charge all of their little, I don't know, pieces, accessories at the same time while they're playing.
I just want to butt in here for just a second. You remember Sam? the guy that we built the liquor cabinet for, a good friend of ours. We just built him a desk, and we just did all of those things to his little desk. We have a batched furniture desk.
Yeah.
Just a pine top, chamfered edges, hairpin legs. Built him that exact same desk. We normally sell it for $200 whenever we batch out 5 or more. And we turned his, almost the same exact style, we turned his into like an $800 desk because we used an oak top.
Yes.
Used 2x6 oak for the top.
Solid oak, big, thick,
and then
metal hairpin legs.
Then I made a long tray that did all of his cable management. We had a power strip in there, and then I routed out a big hole in the bottom so he could put a wireless phone charger through the top of the wood. And with all those upcharges, we changed it from a $200 desk that we would make out of pine into an $800 desk, and it really only cost me an extra like 2 or 3 hours worth of labor to get those other things finished.
Will this hold me?
I hope so.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay, number 2 piece of furniture that we do constantly is coffee tables. Everybody loves coffee tables. Most of what we see is somebody is trying to achieve a certain style, or they're trying to tie together a certain look in their living room. And a coffee table is a really easy way to do that. So that's what we see most of the time. Or somebody will come to us and say, hey, I need to match another piece that I have in my living room, so I need the coffee table to look like that. And honestly, that's where we get a lot of repeat customers. All right, so on the sales side of things, coffee tables are really good because it teaches you and it trains you how to follow up with your customers and get repeat sales. Because if you think about it, where do people put coffee tables? In their living rooms. And then if you look at a living room, think of your living room, it's probably where you have the most furniture in one small area. That reason being because that's the room everybody sees. You have guests and company come over and you sit on the couch in your living room around your coffee table, you serve drinks, maybe you have some end tables, a shelf in the corner, a TV stand. There's a ton of stuff in your living room. So if there's any area of your house where you want a really nice looking piece that you can, talk to people about, for people to compliment and point out the cool design features, it's your living room. So, starting with a coffee table. You build somebody a coffee table. They really like it. You follow up with them in a couple of months and you say, hey, how do you like that coffee table? They say, hey, yeah, I like it. It looks really cool. You could even say something like, hey, when I was in your living room, I noticed in that corner on the left side of your wall, there's a little space open, and I think it'd be super cool if we put a bookshelf in there. We can make it match your coffee table by using the same kind of wood. Oh, that's an awesome idea. I never thought about that. That would be super cool to have a bookshelf in my living room that matched the coffee table. And from there, you can start another sale with a repeat customer. So you put a really nice piece of furniture in somebody's living room, and what do people automatically start doing? They start comparing everything they have to that one piece of furniture. And when you're comparing MDF and particle board furniture to that beautiful oak coffee table that you just built them, they're gonna think, wow, I need to replace some of the stuff I have now with nicer stuff, or I simply want to replace some of my old stuff with newer, nicer stuff. So that's another awesome way that coffee tables are gonna bring you multiple sales. So coffee tables are a really good catalyst to train you to find repeat customers and talk to people who have already bought from you.
All right, next up on the list are cutting boards. You've seen us make a bunch of cutting boards on this channel, and that's just because they sell really well. It's one of those things that everybody uses. There's something that you can batch out and make a lot of in a short amount of time. They don't take up a whole lot of space, so you can kind of have them in the corner of your garage or in your basement or something and just have them ready to go. And the next time that you need to make a sale or get a few extra dollars of cash, you can just start texting a ton of people that you haven't talked to in a while and just said, hey, running this business now, was just batching out a ton of cutting boards, wondered if you wanted one. And that's a really easy way to make a couple $100 very quickly. It's also another thing that you can approach businesses with. One thing my buddy Bruce Ulrich that he does, he makes cutting boards for closing gifts. So he's got a really good connection with a bunch of realtors in town, and he just asked him, he's like, hey, can I make cutting boards and you give those to your clients as closing gifts when they buy a home or sell a home with you. He stays really busy making a lot of cutting boards, and you can get super fancy with cutting boards. You can do the face grain cutting boards, which we do a lot of. You can also do edge and end grain cutting boards, which are also, they take a little more time, but they're really, really nice. And if you've got a realtor that's got the money to spend on really nice closing gifts, typically $50 to $100, you can really start to make a lot of money, especially once you start batching them out. That's also a really good opportunity for you as a business owner to learn how to scale. If All you need is an extra 2 or 3 clamps and you can make another 2 or 3 cutting boards per batch. That really raises your profit margin. So this kind of teaches you how to scale with a small product. That way when you get ready to do something like a restaurant or a department store and build all the display tables, you kind of already know how to think through a lot of products running through your shop at once. Yeah, that's why we recommend cutting boards are a great place to start if you're a business that's just trying to get off the ground and learn how to do this production thing.
They're like, what's a blanket ladder?
It's time for a field trip.
Taking a trip.
Hi, Brucey.
Hi, Brucey.
Hi, Perry. Is it gonna be lit? Next up is blanket ladders. Jenny made this one with just a jigsaw and a drill.
It was gonna be so mean if you just stopped and said, they're stupid easy to make. Jenny made this one.
All right, next on the list are blanket ladders. They're very simple to make. Jenny made this one with just a jigsaw and a drill. They do really well in a living room. They're really versatile. You can get kind of intricate with them if you want to. All it takes is just a couple of 2x4s. You can screw them together, plug the holes. This, again, is another good project. It's a little bit larger, but you can batch them out really quickly. So it's another really good learning opportunity for you as a business owner to batch 5 to 10 of these out and kind of move through the process of doing multiple pieces at once in your shop. These do really well at craft fairs. Also do the measuring sticks, you know, where you measure your kid's height on this stick and you can take the stick with you if you move or something like that. And blanket ladders are really easy to sell because you can also sell decorating packages with them. This is something Jenny's done. She'll like bundle, she'll take like a burlap sack that you get at Walmart or something like that, and she'll put like 4 seasons worth of decorations in each one from like Hobby Lobby or somewhere, and she'll sell that bag of decorations for 20 bucks along with the blanket ladder for about 50 or 60. So for 100 bucks, you've got a piece and decorations already put together, ready for year-round decorating in your living room. A lot of people, at least in the South, where my family's from, we have a whole bunch of blankets and quilts that are family heirlooms, and they're just collecting dust in the closet, but you can put them on a blanket ladder, display them. That's another sales angle that you can go for. Really, these things are just so versatile for decorations. Just try to find out what's popular in your area and try to throw together a decorating package to go with the blanket ladder, because that's going to go way further than just having a ladder made out of wood that you're trying to sell. So this is a good way to learn how to market and take good pictures too.
Oh my gosh.
So the last thing we're going to talk about is kitchen tables. This is where you can really flex your muscles as a maker. If somebody's buying a kitchen table from you, it's probably not the first thing they've ever bought from you. Maybe it is, but this is a pretty high dollar item. Once you're starting to talk about like custom kitchen tables, you're looking in the $2,000–3,000 range, just kind of depending on the size of the table. This is where you can learn how to make bigger items. You really have to think about your clamping strategy, your sanding and finishing strategies. It's just everything's different with a larger product. Everything changes when the project gets really big. It's one thing to do a bunch of cutting boards and a few other tables, but when you get 1 or 2 kitchen tables in the workshop, you start to run out of space really quickly. So it's a good exercise in learning how to, just manage your space, I guess. This is where you can really find out how well your shop is laid out, because if you can't make a large item like a kitchen table in your shop, you may need to consider getting rid of some things or moving some stuff around, especially if you want to do any sort of like production. You like my Crocs?
Ew, I hate.
These are my nice Crocs. But yeah, kitchen tables. If you're at the point where you're selling kitchen tables to your clients, I'm pretty sure you've made it, because that's something that their family touches, eats on. Like, people will trust you if it's like a small cutting board or something, but if they're gonna spend $2,000 or $3,000 with you to build a kitchen table, I feel like you've arrived. That person is definitely on your Ferris wheel. I hope these tips have been helpful. These are just the 5 things that we make the most of, that we feel have the best learning opportunity for a small business or a side hustle trying to learn how to build things. And there's all different types of construction. Like, we've covered small things like cutting boards to really big items like kitchen tables. If you can master those 5 products, if you can master those 5 products, everything is going to go your way, and it sounds like you're off to a great start as a business. So,
anything else, Bruce? He says no.
All right, well, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps out the channel a ton. It really does make a difference. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And then if you want to know even more detail about how we actually close sales, what we sound like on the phone, some scripts, our pricing structure, that sort of thing, we have programs available for purchase. We slow it way down. We don't put as much fluff and B-roll. It's literally just the information. Yep. Really in depth, really solid. We spend way more time on those programs than we spend on these silly weekly videos. But yeah, check out links in the description. All right, we're gonna have a couple more videos on the screen here for you to watch. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Todd Clippinger, and welcome to the American Craftsman Workshop. Today, I want to show a couple of tables to you. I'm getting ready to deliver these to one of the furniture galleries here in town, which they're be sold through. And I wanted to take this opportunity, sort of use this as a springboard to answer the questions and start the conversation on how I sell my work, because this has got to be the most common questions that I continually get from the woodworkers is how do I sell my projects? Well, before I get into how I sell my projects, I came to realize this is going to be my one experience and one point of view. And so I called a friend of mine who is selling his work at an annual craft show called Summer Fair here in Billings. It's a juried craft show, so it's a little bit higher end and you see some nicer stuff. And I asked him, would you be willing to give us a little interview and talk about your business and your goals and how you sell your stuff? So he agreed to that. So I'm going to bring you another video with his interview. But while I was there, I also contacted two other guys. I just went up to them, saw they were selling their woodworking goods, and I just said, I'm Todd Clippinger. Can you give us some information? And really, we're talking to the woodworkers. And amazingly, they said yes. So I've made a couple new friends and got a couple more interviews. So the great thing is we're going to have 4 videos here where each one of us is just talking about how we share, we sell our projects and share a little bit about our own business, because we each have a different perspective. So I will get started. I basically sell my stuff because I'm a contractor. I'm a remodeling contractor, and that puts me in control of the projects. I design them, I sell the projects, I get to sell my ideas. This puts me in an optimum position in order to sell my custom work. So I sell a lot of built-ins and do a lot of custom woodwork that's attached to houses and built in. Over the years, I've seen that change. I'm being called now, without having to sell whole remodels, I'm able to sell custom built-ins and freestanding items and furnishings of various types. So I've come a long ways. And through that, I built a nice portfolio and I've become a juried artist, and I've shown in a couple of museum settings as well. So I've really reached a high level all through the fact that I was a remodeling contractor and have gained all this experience. Now, I would say that 98% of my projects and my work is sold through homeowners contacting me wanting something built in because of my reputation for doing built-ins and being a contractor. But something like this, these tables, I do sell a little bit through galleries, but very little. And actually on this, a metalworking friend of mine, he said, hey, Todd, what do you think of just slapping something out and throwing it in the galleries and see how it sells? So we do that. We don't do it a lot. We don't devote a lot of time to it, but it's kind of fun just to slam something out. Here's what's kind of interesting. You know, a lot of times, woodworkers, metalworkers, what we found was that through both groups, everybody wants to build these grand pieces and sell them for a lot of money. Really what you have involved in is a lot of time, a lot of materials, and your profit margins are very small by the time the gallery owner takes their share. These tables, they are priced at $650 a piece. So the gallery takes 50%. Now, me and my buddy, we split the other 50%, so I see 25%, $650. So I'm going to see $162.50 out of a single table. Guess what? $162 will more than cover what I have involved in time and materials in just these 2 tops. I am more than happy with that. So it's a little bit of just mad money and a bit of an experiment to see what will sell. We slam these things out. Make no mistake, the work is nice. The finish on the woodwork is nice. My friend does some real nice work, blacksmithing. And for him, these look like they'd be complicated to me, but he swears he can slam those out pretty quick. But basically, we've got minimal investment in time and materials, and we've maximized our profit margin on these items. And we just kind of do them in our spare time once in a while when they need to sell more. So they sell, we make more, and they sell after a while. So no big deal. So anyways, but actually, I sell very little through the galleries. I have galleries contact me on a pretty regular basis, and they ask if I'd be interested in selling stuff. But the fact is, don't have a lot of time to make things on spec, and that's why my friend and I, we've decided to try to slam some stuff out like this. Very simple, minimal investment of time and material, maximum profit. That's really the only way we can do this. Also, I don't really sell through online sources like Etsy or Custom Made. I don't have anything against those, but once again, I don't have time to make a lot of stuff on spec, and that I just don't have the momentum going that direction. But I know of other people that do that. And you know what? The guys that sell through the shows, the guys that sell on Etsy and Custom Made and the online sources, they have a certain momentum that they built, and they start going that way. My momentum is basically through the trades direction. So a lot of you may think that what I do doesn't relate to you, and that's great, because that's why I interviewed these other guys. Now, I will say this, guys, there's a lot of value in the fact that I have a trades background. I know how houses are put together. I know how office buildings are put together. I understand structures and construction. So when I design something, especially that's to be built in, I'm very aware of how that structure is built, and I'm very concerned about where I can attach things and place things and fasteners and all these things come into play. I also know exactly what to look for when I go to do a built-in, because nothing is ever straight, square, or plumb. So I'm very aware of all these sensory things are constantly, a part of the project, and I have a lot of experience in dealing with that. Also, because of my background, I also am very good with the installation process. I'm very good with making that super tight fit that just looks supreme. And I can repair walls, because undoubtedly I'm going to scratch walls. I have to repair texture, paint, caulk in. I can do all these things. I can pop trim off a wall, fit pieces in, put trim back on, and make it look like it never came off. I am very good at what I do, and that experience is very valuable to me. If you're planning on doing custom woodworking, doing built-ins, if you don't have a clue what's going on with the structure, if you're not doing the install, then your contractor, the contractor that's doing the install, the craftsman, he's going to be very frustrated with you, because there are some things that you just didn't accommodate him on. And until you start understanding some of those things, it can make for a rocky relationship. But you'll learn, I'm sure, so don't be intimidated by that either. But that's basically how I sell, is through remodel. Once in a while, I sell through galleries, as I do in this situation. I don't really sell online, but I have sold some projects online. I do have a lot of work in other states, actually. A lot of my high-end stuff is out in Ohio, but I go out in Ohio and I work, once again, as a contractor. If I just give the word that I'm showing up, people start calling me. They know what I build. They know they know I'm good at it, and they want to hire me for that. So I can work here in Montana where I live, or I can work where I come from back in central Ohio, and I can do it either location. I did have a couple of contacts through online. Guys just did some searches, and they came across me. One was the executive TV producer for PBS in New York City, and he ordered a shaker bench, and it sits in a house he has in upstate New York, a house full of old Stickley, new Stickley, and Thomas Mosier, and now he has a Todd Clippinger, and he said it fits very well. Very pleased with it. He said it's a perfect complement to the rest of the house. Also, these guys don't even know each other, but a two-time Grammy award-winning music producer from New York City found me, contacted me on building some stuff for his studio. So I built some holders for his equipment in his studio. And it was kind of pedestrian work, but he saw me teaching how to deal with melamine, and he just decided he wanted me to do it. And my turnaround time was really quick on it. He was very pleased. So kind of interesting how you sell things online. Sometimes you just never know where it's going to come in. Largely, those are how I sell my things and some of my experiences. Now, I want to tell you guys, if you're interested in business, inundate, soak in yourself, surround yourself with business-minded individuals and information. A couple of things that I suggest that you read: Woodshop News and Cabinet Maker, FDM. Both of those are magazines geared towards professional woodworking shops, cabinet shops. I highly suggest that you check into those. Also, WoodWeb is a great website for professionals to gather and share their woodworking experience. It's an online community for professionals. I'm going to warn you, don't go over to WoodWeb and set up an account and start asking hobby questions, hobbyist level questions. Basically, if you're a hobbyist, you will be vetted out, you will be blocked out. They curate that site and maintain it very well. It is geared towards professionals and they keep it professional. They eject anybody that basically causes trouble or is not a professional. They don't want it to turn into a hobby woodworking community. Now, there's nothing against hobby woodworkers, but there are great places, other communities, to have that conversation. And I even go to those websites like Lumberjocks and the Wood Whisper Wood Talk Forum. I love those guys and I like helping everybody out. But there's a different conversation that I have there helping woodworkers than I would over at WoodWeb, where it's a peer-to-peer professional level conversation. So surround yourself with that information, and that will help you out a lot. Well, I hope that you found this information helpful, and I understand that you're not a contractor, so maybe this doesn't seem to apply to you, but that's why I've interviewed the other guys, and I have them coming up. All the videos will be hot linked together, so be sure to check each one of them out. They'll be in no special order. You can watch them in any order that you want, and so be on the lookout for those videos. They're coming soon, and until next time, be safe in your own shop. You know, I can't even remember what I've talked about now.
Now, once again, we would like to thank you for watching our top 3 videos for small woodworking projects that sell well. Hit that like button and that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Also, remember that we have links below in the video description that will take you to the official page that you see here for some fantastic information on some step-by-step woodworking projects, or what is said to be the Earth's largest database of woodworking projects. This featured official website is called Ted's Woodworking, which is said to be the world's largest collection of 16,000 woodworking plans, that is also featured in the beginning and at the end of the video. And you can see that this featured database is said to have plans that are said to be step-by-step. Also, you can see here that this is said to solve the problems of not having specific enough plans. Vital information being left out of instructions. Details being too complex for beginners as well. Just take a look as we briefly scroll through. Just click on the links provided in the description to see more on the Ted's Woodworking, over 16,000 step-by-step plans for woodworking projects for yourself.